Hello, we're live at Intune Festival. I'm Conrad Burgos, and I have some very special guests. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'm Reverend Sean Patrick, exorcist and psychic medium of the Ivy League Psychic Academy.
Okay.
And I'm Reverend Ivy Rivera, psychic medium, owner of the Ivy League Psychic Academy in Amherst, New York.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming to the festival. How are you guys doing at the festival so far?
Good.
Hot.
It's been great.
Sweaty. Sweaty and hot.
Sweaty and hot.
Yeah, great food, great music.
Good people.
Yeah.
Is heat conducive to the psychic environment or anything?
Not always.
Really? Yeah. I would imagine the temperature gets people.
It actually, you produce your own heat when you start to get information psychically or from spirit. You start to heat up on your own.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually,
like a radio tuner.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like
with
me,
the
I get
additional
red in the
heat,
air.
it's notable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, you both mentioned your reverence. We spoke earlier. You're a Catholic reverend.
I'm non-denomination, but I do work for the Catholic Church.
Okay. Now, does being a psychic, and you as well, work with the Catholic Church too?
I'm through the Melchizedek order, so I'm also non-denominational with my reverendship.
What's that?
So that means that I'm allowed to work with the Catholic Church, but I work with everyone. I marry everyone. We don't have a specific belief that we feed into. We just support everybody in whatever their beliefs are to be there for people and whatever they need.
That's really solid. That's cool. Okay, so since you're non-denominational, that doesn't conflict with any psychic things like in the spirit realm. I feel like certain Catholic things I've learned are very strict about what spirits are good and bad.
It does with me. I'm not allowed to talk about it when I'm there, but what I do in my private time is my private time. I believe in the spirit is in God. God is universal, and I shouldn't discriminate.
Yeah.
I'm open with my faith.
How often are you finding yourself explaining your beliefs and your, profession to people?
In the beginning, when I first came out to the public, it was constant, and I was questioned a lot. Potential clients would call and start asking right away, "What's your religion? What are your beliefs?" And I learned very quickly just to tell people that that's none of their business. I'm here to support them. My beliefs are my own. I don't ask them about theirs, and I leave it at that. I was raised Catholic. I do consider myself a Christian, more so than I believe I'm a spiritualist within the spiritualist religion. So I guess if I had to pick a religion, I'd go with Christianity. But basically, I'm open to whatever spirits are leading and guiding. And while I believe in Jesus, I don't feel like that fits within a religious category at all, and it does not limit me.
Yeah. I mean, I think people who kind of know the Bible, or really know it, can see the different, not even hints or nuances, but blatant spirituality. You're talking about Solomon would fight magicians.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Where did all those books go?
Right.
Yes.
No, he would control the
That's
gen.
right.
Well, you know where they went because you're Catholic. You know exactly where they went.
That's
What
right.
I'm ruled. They were the same thing. There's aliens, the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, all in Genesis. Dreams, dream interpretations, sorcerers, wizards, it's all in the Bible.
Jacob was having dreams. He was,
That's the whole thing. Certain faiths are only as strong as what they want to teach you. They never tell you to explore the Bible. They only tell you certain sections.
Yeah.
So until you can evolve on your own, just like the Lord does, you have to evolve and learn the Bible yourself and interpret it your own way.
Do you find that certain people who are, founded in certain religious groups other than others are more accepting or susceptible to your teachings? Because you sound a lot like my devout Muslim cousin. And he's always talking about the spirits and awareness and I would say cross-curricular studies.
I was actually just saying earlier that it's funny because I can go to pagan festivals. I can branch out into a million different more spiritual directions, and people don't seem to need mediumship as much. The majority of my client base is Catholic.
Yeah.
So this is a takeaway business.
And I'll tell you what, there's
Yep.
only 2 angels ever mentioned in the Bible. That's Gabriel
And Michael,
and Michael. What is the only angel mentioned in the Quran?
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
You see how all the religions connect?
Well,
All the
no.
religions believe in the same thing, but
I
we
think
just
that
reword things
they talk
differently.
about all the angels in,
all the angels,
in
but Gabriel's
Islam.
their main angel.
It's their
in the
main
Quran.
angel because he's the man.
He's the man, that's
But
why.
they talk about other angels too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a major thing within mediumship is that you're communicating not just with higher up spirits, like Jesus, but also guides and angels are a huge part of mediumship. And so the more aware people are that they have angels that are appointed to them, that they have angels, larger angels, archangels that are watching out all the time, we learn how to use that network for our own safety and for healing and for helping others, the better off we are. It's there every day, all the time, no matter what your belief is.
And I give the same speech all the time because I like to take the more Christian route with my mediumship and the psychic abilities, is that we are created in his likeness and in his image. Jesus was a psychic, predicted a future. He was a healer, healed the sick and the blind. He spoke to spirit, he was a medium. We are created in his likeness and in his image. The kingdom of heaven is within us. We are all born with that ability, never on the God level, but he gives us those gifts as well.
See, now what you just said, you kind of broke it down like, well, this is actually this. How often do you find that in your work and studies that just the term and the connotation of medium, of psychic, kind of gets in the way of understanding?
Meaning from a religious
he's a medium. Oh, I know what that means.
Right, he's a medium. So that's how it was as a kid, because I was raised in Catholic school, but we had relocated from Georgia right outside the gates of Lilydale. So I was being raised outside of the largest spiritualist community in the world, and at the same time I was being raised in Catholic school. Whenever mediumship came up, I was immediately shunned.
Yeah.
Yet I was being trained in school at the same time that Jesus was a medium.
Right.
So absolutely, it's embraced, but not for us. Even though there was a time when it was embraced in general, and those books of Solomon and things that were removed was actually the training ground for mediums. Those books, those were our training manuals, and those have been taken out. So now we're left to figure it out on our own. And the idea behind the fear element is really that people who don't know how to use mediumship properly are letting in dark forces and the devil and all of this. And that really is not what's happening. It's very easy to decipher positive spirits from negative spirits, just like people can decipher a good person from a not so good person. It's very simple. And if we remove that fear element, we're just able to channel good. And that was something that not only Jesus did, but prophets did.
All the prophets.
There were mediums all over the place, and we do have it.
But then again, you can also take away the word medium, and you can even say we're deep in our faith. We believe in the Lord's word so much that we follow his words, and we've enabled ourselves through the graciousness of him.
These are his gifts.
These are his gifts.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're more spiritual than anything because we listen. Now, the Bible says in the Psalms to meditate on his name. We listen. That's all we do. We listen. And as we listen, we hear, we give out. This is why the Psychic Academy teaches. We teach you how to listen to spirit, how to listen to yourself, what the Holy Spirit, what Spirit is giving you. It's not an ability that we don't have. It's an ability we do have. You forget about it, and Ivy teaches psychic mediumship development, which is a spiritual meaning, if you ask me, and you're able to bring it out in you.
Are there dark arts, and are there things that are forbidden?
There is definitely, the program that I've designed is a 15-week program. It's based on a method called the psychology of spirit communication. This has eliminated what used to take 15 years to train people in. It used to be 15 years of a ton of meditation and things like this. This is a simple program. It breaks down the basic language barriers. It helps people to understand their psychic ability, mediumship ability, and empathic abilities. So once they understand how to properly communicate with spirit, it becomes very clear really quickly where the negative energies are, if there are any around, and basically you ignore them, you eliminate them, and you refuse to communicate with them, and then more positive keeps coming until it's just completely unfed and it ceases to be a force that's around you.
Okay, so once you become educated and you learn the vernacular, you learn the practices, then you actually know what's good or bad, as opposed to just not knowing and then assuming.
Right,
Is what I'm kind of hearing.
People who work from a fear base where they say, oh, if you open up the door to that, it's going to be bad. The reality is that because they haven't trained, they haven't learned, they haven't taken the time to learn discernment properly, they are far more vulnerable than someone who's actively practicing in mediumship.
I think that's very true.
And then when it's fear-based, you call us in, and then we've also trained the Ivy League psychics as well. where they're investigators, certain ones that have to pass our curriculum, and we go in and we will investigate and do it properly. However, we don't need to be at your home or anything. You can sit with us, and we can tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Are you losing faith? Are you off track? Are you on the right path?
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing. We can see your house, objects and everything from a distance. It drives people crazy. It freaks them out. But we'll map out your home, tell where your bed is, everything.
So
it helps out a lot easier.
If you do have negative paranormal activity going on, you know, we can step in and we can help. And no, we don't have to be there. We can do it from a distance. But ultimately, it's going to be on the responsibility of the person being
But
haunted.
there is one
I
big
do wanna know.
misunderstanding here, though.
Yeah.
Mediums do not attract negative energy.
No.
Not at all. And a lot of people don't like to come to mediums because they're afraid of what they're going to hear. They're afraid of spirits coming
We're
in.
highly trained.
Light workers. We work for God.
Yep.
Okay, we do God's will. We do God's word. We only pass on the best messages. We don't tell you you're going to die. We don't tell you there's evil, there's demonic in your house. We look for a healing purpose.
Well, even if I see what you're saying, like based on that misconception, but I definitely think that because you know about the world and you know about levels that I don't know about, that your awareness of that makes those presents aware of you. So like, I'm not gonna say like if I come to your house, the evil shit's gonna follow me, but something is gonna be more aware of me because I was there with you.
This is true, and it is true, and this is why I'm very careful with my students. The more you open up to it, the more you will get. You have to be careful what you ask for.
Yeah. That's very true.
Manifestations, everything.
Okay, so I think what everybody wants to know is what's wrong with me.
What's wrong today?
Yeah.
One thing?
Well,
We have to pick one thing.
you can, just look at my aura, look at the phone icons that surround my body, and just pick the two that have been there for a while, you know?
You need to go into the healing arts is one thing I can see with you. You have a lot of blue in your aura. So as I'm looking at your aura now, you definitely have a lot of blue. So you have a lot of calm and healing abilities for people. So you can get around somebody who's having a down day, and you're naturally going to cheer them up. You need to continue to do that and work on that path as well.
You know that because of how I'm talking to you.
No, I can see it.
I'll tell you this. Here's one of the things that I see coming up with you. I do see a little bit of worry about the future that I think you need to release. I think that you need to not have your standards so high, okay, on what you want to achieve, because I feel like every time you're working on a project, it's almost like your mind is saying, I have to have this kind of an outcome for the projects. And I see that what Spirit's actually doing with you, what God's actually doing with you, is taking everything and flipping it on its ear, and stuff that you thought that would not get through will later, but things are going to be mix-matched up. So I feel like be open to wherever things lead. Just keep collecting.
You know, we do a radio show on liveparanormal.com every other Thursday at 9 to 10. You can call into the show if you have any other questions as well. It's phenomenal. You'll love it. A lot of people call in. We have great guests. Everything. It's called the Ask a Medium Show. We travel around the country. Tours, lectures, shows, events. You can come in anytime. You can call in anytime.
You do have a very bright future in this stuff. You do.
Stick with it.
More West Coast though.
More West Coast?
You go in New York and then West Coast?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a hometown hero. You can't. I don't like how people say like, you know, I deserve a full pizza and I only have 2 slices here, and then they like don't eat the 2 slices. That doesn't make sense to me.
Cut it in little strips. Give everybody a little portion.
Well, yeah, you know, appreciate what you got. If there's only 4 venues in Buffalo, go to the venues. You can't not go to the venues and say you've done everything.
Yeah.
That's silly. But I appreciate what you said. But, you know, I'm a young guy. I feel like, well, no, I'm not going to say that. My doubt of what you're saying is going to kick in because I feel like you were correct. So then now I'm trying to find a reason for you to be, like, wrong because your reason was different even though the outcome was the same. So I'm just going to shut the fuck up. And
you have to remember, no matter what you say, we're going to listen to the other side and believe them over you.
Well, yeah, okay. Oh, you are? Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that's fair. That's what a lot of people say. Okay, this has been really pleasant. Yeah, so Ivy League Psychics and the Live Paranormal Radio Show.
Yes, and the Ivy League Psychic Academy.
Ivy League Psychic Academy. Oh, and let's clarify, this is not some preppy, upscale, Yale-style psychic. It's Ivy League because of a really good pun based on somebody named Ivy, correct?
That's right.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because we are not white-collar anymore.
Well, one more thing, stop on by. Who's ever out there, who's ever going to watch your show, we We feature a lot of local artists, a lot of local jewelry makers, and everything. We try to pay it forward to the local community. All right, it's just not about psychic ability; it's about everyone collectively.
It's about healing and education, and we're open year-round to offer development to everybody.
That's beautiful.
Affordable.
And affordable. And my last question is, what does intune mean to you in your world?
Being in the flow, being in the way, hearing.
You're with it, man. You're just totally with it. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Reverends. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bless you.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
oh, this is Jordan.
So what about me?